guys, welcome to Serious Laughs. This is episode 13. When does your heart need to open to let someone in? To be human is to be vulnerable, but it's not always a good thing.
No, it's not. Love requires vulnerability. And yet to be vulnerable means the potential to get hurt, physically or emotionally.
Hey guys, it's Molly, and I'm afraid of ghosts.
Hey everyone, I'm Sheri, and I'm afraid of tax season.
What are you afraid of, Erin?
Ooh, cockroaches.
Oh,
Ew, that's good.
yeah.
You're
I
talking
think
about
everyone would agree.
bugs.
Not men, right?
Do you know what? As soon as it came out of my mouth, I was like, "Oh, that could swing both ways."
Wait, what am I missing? Do we call men cockroaches sometimes?
No, and as soon as it came out of my
Oh.
mouth, I was actually thinking of a physical cockroach, but then for some reason my brain just kind of went to men slightly. So.
Same. Eden, same.
Oh. Well, Sheri, why don't you introduce our guest? What a lovely lady we have here today. Go ahead, take it away, Sheri.
Oh my God, we're so honored that you're here. Erin Gavin, you are a beautiful, talented Scottish actress, producer, writer, and director. You are known for Gaming for Love, most recently. It is up for Best Live Action Short Film. At the time of us recording this, you created this moving film. You starred in it, and I mean, you could, people should invest in Kleenex if it's in the stock market, because anyone who watches this is gonna, I mean, I get emotional just thinking about that movie. And you, but it doesn't stop there. You're also a filmmaker, a recording artist, and you also own other businesses. Welcome.
Yeah.
Erin Gavin, welcome. We are
Yay.
so grateful.
Thank you.
There's-
That's how I'm single. See, like all those things you just said, that's how I'm single.
And that's why you look young and happy.
Oh, funny.
No. Molly's married and she's happy. It can be done. It can be done.
It can
I'm
be
divorced,
done.
single, and happy. So yes. So
I'm
we're like a triage. We're like,
Yeah.
we can open up like a dating firm. You could be married happy, divorced happy, single happy. Yeah.
Oh, well, such an honor to have you here. There's so many sides to Erin, and we sent you an article that Sheri wrote on vulnerability. Because I really feel like, and tell me what you think too, there has to be an element of vulnerability. Can't even fucking say it. Vulnerability when you go into something like you just did, especially with the topic you chose to write this movie on. I guess starting at the top, and then we'll start to get a little more dedicated to the movie in particular. What role does vulnerability play in our relationships? And this is like an open question to everybody in any relationship. What are our thoughts on that?
It's probably the one area for me personally that I can be vulnerable in different aspects of life and I don't even realize that I'm doing it. But when it comes to relationships, I'm more cautious that I need to be a wee bit more vulnerable. I don't know if you can relate to that. But I remember when Kat went for a casting to play Marilyn Monroe, the director said to me, I said, "What made you choose me?" And she said, "You have the same quality as Marilyn Monroe. You have the same vulnerability as Marilyn Monroe." And I didn't quite get what that meant until I started playing her. And then I realized, I maybe don't realize that I'm being vulnerable as daily events or like a casting or whatever it may be, but I'm only cautious of it when I'm working to find out if this person is for me and can I be vulnerable with them. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Yeah.
Wow.
So,
No, that's very powerful. Wow.
from
So how does that relate to Marilyn Monroe and yourself?
So the thing is that I think when you're vulnerable in certain aspects of your life, you don't realize that you are. It just is. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Because I still don't fully understand what she means, although I can and can't, because it's just a natural, it's just a way that you have, I guess. And you're not fully conscious of it. The only time I'm fully conscious of it is where I'm deciding if this person is for me and can I be vulnerable with them.
So
or with you, extra mile with them.
With your career and vulnerability as a relationship?
I'm fine. With my career, I'm fine. I probably am vulnerable and it doesn't register that I'm being vulnerable. But when it comes to relationships and figuring out if I can let this person in and be vulnerable with them, it registers.
Yeah, because there's always that risk. There's always that risk there of the getting hurt. So we close it off so we don't feel we don't get hurt, or we're not, Sheri, you were going to say something. My bad.
No, this is an organic, orgasmic, intellectual conversation. So anything goes. I'm just, I think it's so fascinating when you say this, Erin, because it really does depend on where the wound is. For someone who doesn't feel the wound, a career, it's okay to be vulnerable because you don't feel a wound and you're not thinking about it. It's almost like childlike. There's an innocence. You look at children and we're so drawn to them, I think in great part because they are vulnerability personified.
Yeah,
like, do you want this flower? It's mine. You can have it. That innocence.
Yeah.
And if we retain that and nurture it, it manifests in our lives and comes back to us. But for some reason, when we've been hurt in a place, whether it's a career or a relationship or money or whatever it is, we tend to lose our way and we tighten the reins of our heart. I don't even know if a heart has reins, but we tighten up. We say, that's too much. And I'm not ever going to assume, and that's your personal thing to share, if you have been hurt in the past. I can speak for myself. And the vulnerability issue is an issue for me because of past pain, the cockroaches we talked about with men. And you start to feel like you're in a house of mirrors and you wonder, can I trust my perceptions? Can I trust what this person is saying and doing when in the past I've been so hurt and I don't want to go there. But with my career, I have agency. I have control. I get to decide. And so vulnerability becomes something playful you look forward to.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I think like for me, I've made a lot of wrong choices with relationships. So certainly, when you kind of go through the phases of your life, I certainly wasn't mature early on, early 20s. I wasn't mature in the relationship realm, if you like. I was with business. I started my first when I was 18. I don't know. It was like I wore two different heads. This one was like mesh, and this one was like, I know where I'm going. So I definitely made a lot of the wrong choices. And then, so I guess like there's a point where you need to take a step back and say, okay, why am I making these choices and how do I change it? And what is it that you really want? And I guess we learn in every relationship, or we should, what we don't want versus what we want. And I think a lot like what you're saying, when you're a child, it does affect us a lot in terms of what happens to us. And certainly I had a bit of trauma in the male department, if you like, growing up. So then that affected how I see how a relationship should be versus actually what a relationship should be. So I think we see a red flag, don't realize it's a red flag because it's something we're comfortable with. And when we're comfortable with it, it doesn't mean it's okay. It just means we know how to deal with it. And then we don't ignore it when we should. I've done that a lot. Yeah.
God, it's like you're speaking to my soul. I mean, and I feel like, Molly, you're getting it too. Our relationships are always showing us where we are on our journey.
Absolutely. And I don't know about you guys, but like I've had difficulty with relationships with I kind of travel a lot between LA, London, and Scotland, and not a lot of, it all starts off great. And I know the signs now because I've been here, done it, and worn the t-shirt. But a lot of men can't handle that. And I'm also extremely independent. And a lot of men don't like that either. Of course, there's ones that do, but I think I've yet to really meet them. So we all have our complications, and that's certainly mine, just the way I live my lifestyle. And I'm not ready to give that up because I'm on a good path right now in my career. So I don't feel like I'd be willing to negotiate too much right now. And then that's the other issue, because of course for a relationship to work, you both have to give and take and negotiate. But that's one term that I'm like, I'm not willing to give up LA or give up home. So it's very hard to meet somebody who would be okay and be able to live my lifestyle.
Yes. And I think I commend you because, and I'm so glad people listen to this podcast. I want everyone to hear what you're saying, Aiden, because there's so many people out there who need to hear what I'm hearing, which is very strong self-esteem to say, no, I'm not willing to negotiate my terms, your terms, to make something work. And I think that reflects high self-esteem on your part. So many people are willing to contort themselves, and it simmers as silent resentment. And they're willing to accept breadcrumbs or emotional breadcrumbs, just to say that they have a someone. And you're saying, no, these are my terms. Like it's not, it's admirable. So thank you.
It's a hard one because it makes me sound like, to a degree, oh, this is it. I'm just like my way or the highway. But I don't obviously mean it that way. But that's one term where I feel like right now I can't change that because I worked so hard to build what I've achieved in LA. And so I feel like I can't just throw that away. And the right person will understand that.
That's right. That's right.
And be able to work with that. And of course, like there's other aspects of any relationship where you say, okay, well, what are you not willing to negotiate on? And I'll try and work with that. So it's like a compromise, right?
So sorry. I'm going to mute my microphone because someone is calling.
Well, I was going to say that, the way you're speaking to me, it's very business minded, which obviously speaks to the fact that you've made this film. So, what role did or does vulnerability play in the making of this film, Gaming for Love? I'm imagining you going into all these these circuits, like these festival circuits, and this is like your heart. Here you go. Take it. And I would just imagine it's like you're handing over your little baby and just holding your breath. So, you know, how does vulnerability play into it, or did it, and does it still? What are your thoughts on that?
Do you know what's crazy? Like, I didn't think about it too much. I was almost like robotic with it. Okay, this is what we're doing. This is like what we're doing. Blah, blah, blah. So I didn't really have time to stop and go, oh, you know, what if people don't like it?
Great.
I kind of just went for it. And it was like such a fast train that I didn't have time to think about it almost. Don't get me wrong, like on Film Freeway, that's a platform where you go on and you submit to all the festivals. Certainly you can submit to the festivals directly, but that platform has all of the festivals on it. And so when you see one that you haven't been accepted for, because it does happen, it's like, oh, and it's almost like, oh, well, you're lost.
But I love you. Do you hear that, everyone? When people reject your artwork, your film, your resume, whatever, going on a date, they don't want to see you again. Thank you. You're lost. Love that.
But but I think one thing I learned as well from submitting to the festivals is that it's not about quantity, but it's more about the quality of the festival and making sure they're a match for your film. Because naturally, like if you submit to a horror festival and you're not a horror film, it's not going to matter. So
Right.
I got click happy for a minute, and I think I did a bit of that. So I'm just going to put it down to that. But yeah, there's definitely a vulnerability to it. But if you believe in the story and you believe in the product, then great. Don't get me wrong. There's moments where you know, nothing's ever perfect, and where I feel that for the film, that if I went back and did it again, I was wearing so many hats because I had to, in order to get it off the ground. And where I would probably change that is that I felt like there was moments I was like, oh yeah, now I need to act. Okay, hold on. And not giving myself enough time to fully feel and get back into that role, because you're wearing so many moving parts. So I'd probably give myself more time. If I'm going to be in front of the camera, I would give that more time. That's and you're right, you are being vulnerable as an actor, putting yourself out there and being judged on your work.
I mean, I feel like that every time I put in a self-tape, I send it off to my, you know, actors accent. I'm like, well, there you go.
There you go.
You know, it's like, you just, I don't know. I really.
Yeah, we're really vulnerable, right? Is that super vulnerable, because, you know, if you don't get chosen, you have to grow a thick skin, because because it's almost like, you know, it's like going on a date and the person, you guys aren't gelling, so it's like a rejection form, right? So you need to grow a thick skin.
And that's weird too. Even if you're not like gelling, you know, you're not getting, it's like, you know, it's not a match. There also too is just that like, oh,
I know.
Even like, but why would you want to just, you know, that's so silly. Why do we do that?
But it's so true, right?
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Every single time you do feel that, oh, but it's life, isn't it? But certainly I would say, if I'm being vulnerable, I would say that my weakest point is romance, just because I haven't really given it as much time as I should have over the years, but also just making the wrong choices and not looking at some of the red flags when I should have, and just getting caught up in the honeymoon phase, getting caught up in that, and then seeing that for more than what it actually is. So I've learned a lot. And I would say, yeah, that's an area where I think there's still room for me to grow, and just be a wee bit more vulnerable and allow somebody in.
And also learning to trust yourself in that realm.
Yeah.
And what I want to tell listeners is part of the reason I was so moved to tears watching Gaming for Love, not just because it's a true story, not just because it was told beautifully, but the portrayal of vulnerability in that family.
Yeah.
So you have that, Eden. You because you manifested. I mean, you wrote the script, right?
Yeah.
You wrote it, you produced it, you starred in it, you directed it, you did everything, and you created. It's based on a true story, and you created this world where a mother and father.
Yeah. It's inspired by true events. So what I did was I wanted to make something, and I wanted to make something short, a short film, just because, you know, it costs a lot of money to make films. And it was actually an ex-boyfriend of mine. His mom had read this article, and then he told me about it, and I just fell in love with the story. But then once I read that, then I read another one and another one, and I started doing research and Googling, and I was finding this was quite a familiar story, in terms of like kids turning to gaming who are terminally ill, you know, parents finding out so much about their kid once they had passed. There was all these different aspects, and I thought, no, there was no part of me that thought I'm not going to tell this story. It was more like, okay, I'm doing this, and I need to figure out how I'm going to do this. And then that's when I was like, okay, I'm just going to write it, and then I'm just going to keep moving and keep going. And then before I knew it, I was like, oh, we're in production, woohoo! And so I got really lucky, because for those filmmakers out there, what I would say is, you'll be amazed if you have a really, like, a story that touches people. You'll be amazed at people that want to rally and come together, and before you know it, you'll have a community helping you. And that's what happened with me, and I'm ever thankful for I did a GoFundMe. I had to be vulnerable with that, because, you know, I don't like doing those things. I don't like asking for help. You know, I just want to do it, get it done, do it myself. But sometimes we have to, right? So I was a bit vulnerable with that. Go down, go fund me. But you know, it helped, right? So like, it helped me pay for things. I had to put my own money into it. But then I had this help from a community of people that were like, yeah, go do it. Great. Yay. And then I had a crew who just came on board and helped, and I got locations for free. So my point is, like, just be vulnerable. If you're a filmmaker, you want to make something, just go do it. Like, just talk to people, create a community who believe in your project, and you'll be amazed what happens. I think.
Yeah, I think there's such a, I love that too, because it's just, there's such a fear in me personally to ask, not necessarily, well, yeah, for help in general.
Right.
Whatever, you know, having a bad day, you don't really want to tell anybody, I kind of bring you down with this.
I
But
get
like,
it.
so yeah, but just to be like, I believe in it. And then they see the script, they see your determination, they see your enthusiasm. I mean, why wouldn't they want to get on board? I think you know, everybody hears this. The worst thing you can hear is no, right? So might as well just ask. But again, you have to be vulnerable. Yeah. I love that.
I mean,
great. You're just doing the thing.
I think, like, you know, I remember my granny saying to me, that, you know, if you don't ask, it's already no.
Yep.
Oh, that's
Yep.
good. If you don't ask, it's already no.
Yeah, if you don't ask, it's already no.
Yeah,
And I always remember she said that.
I love that.
Aw.
Stuck. But
There's,
you know,
can we put up the quote?
Yep, I
by
was just gonna
Rumi?
say that.
Oh, great minds think alike.
Great
So,
minds.
the Rumi, the famous poet, I think it was like the 13th century, he said, the wound is the place where the light enters. And we know vulnerability is about exploring our wounds. So my question is, and I wrote this down, I didn't want to forget. So what wounds were explored in the making of Gaming for Love, or in the story itself? And feel free to add, you know, how that might relate to your own wounds if you feel it's related.
The wounds where I realized that I wanted to please everybody that was on set. And I don't mean that's seen that as a wound, it's not. But it's more of a wound, I guess you could say, from the past that entered into the present. So I realized that I was like, I didn't want anybody to not be enjoying the time on set. I wanted to make sure everybody was okay. Whereas what I should really have been doing is, yes, an element of that naturally, of course, but I should have also been taking care of like myself, you know, not getting 4 hours sleep and working crazy hours and doing everything. I should have been taking care of myself at the same time. So, but again, that's like, not saying I'm a people pleaser, but there was an element of that I wanted everybody to walk away saying that they had the best time. But and that became overwhelming, maybe, or I let it become an element of overwhelming. So I guess you could say that that's like a wound. If you know, that I felt the
Just
need
people
to make
pleasing.
sure everybody was okay. Whereas I should have potentially been concentrating a little bit more on my work itself and getting those couple of extra hours sleep or whatever. But I think maybe that's just naturally who I am. But at the same time, that I would say that, yeah, that falls into that category. What else? You're being certainly, I don't know if it's a wound, but maybe more falls under the vulnerability, but you're really putting your work out there, as we said before. Like, you're really, you know, you're open to criticism, you're open to all sorts, and you have to be prepared for that. And that's like a hard pill to swallow, you know, but you just have to go for it. Otherwise, you'll never do anything.
And look at the light you've entered from that.
Yeah.
You go ahead, Molly.
No, I was just exactly. I just, and also I love that you're learning something. You know, you're looking back on it. Well, I should have done this. I could have done this better, because there's no doubt you're going to make another film. I totally believe that. Or who knows, this goes on to become a feature film or something. You know, somebody buys it. You know, so to just continue to learn from, you know, everything that you're doing. I think that's amazing. I love that you're doing this and that you're a woman doing it too.
Yeah. But yeah, I get it. Like, you know, certainly I think we all have our little wins, you know, and then when we recognize it, that's the first step, right? So there's a lot of that. But yeah, I mean, I got really lucky on that movie, honestly, because everybody was amazing. There was not one person I was like, bad egg. You know,
Yes, a plus.
I didn't have any of that, so I was really lucky. It was meant to be. Do you ever just get, and viewers, you get those moments where you're like, I'm supposed to do this. it feels right. You're like, I'm supposed to do this. This is supposed to happen. I feel like that was supposed to happen with that film.
Yep. And it might not have started that way either. You were taking those little steps, and like you said, before you knew it, you were in production. You're like, holy shit. Yeah, this is where I'm supposed to be. This is great. Yeah. I think you kind of answered the question I was going to ask, because I know we're getting low on time. So I like this last question that Sheri put up. You want to take that?
What did I put up?
Oh,
what did I do? I'm vulnerable now.
I like it.
What is happening? Okay. Yeah, that was a good question. Good job, Sheri. All right. Eden, what is your ultimate hope or goal as an artist for both specifically Gaming for Love and the work you create in general?
Specifically for Gaming in Love, I would love for it to be nominated for an Academy Award. And naturally, I would love it to win the Academy Award. I think it would change a lot of people's lives who were involved. But not only that, I'm then able to tell the story further afield than I could ever imagine, and let people feel. I mean, everybody has came to me and told me that they felt something from it, or they tell me their story that's a similar story, sadly. So that would be what I would love for the film. And sorry, can you ask me the question once more, because I was kind of breaking into two.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. So your ultimate hope, I hope the universe is listening. Oscar, this is amazing. And all these awards that it garners awards and more recognition. So more parents out there who have lost a child, unfortunately, to cancer, can find hope and comfort and inspiration in Gaming for Love and the community at large on a bigger platform. But also the second question, and we loved your answer, the work you create in general. What is your hope and goal for the work you create in general?
So it's a good question. I definitely want to not just create something just so that I'm working. I want to create other projects that are inspired by or loosely based on true events that people can feel. I want people to feel something emotionally triggers and maybe inspires. You know, I love it when I watch a movie and it inspires me. I'm like, let's go. I want to create that. And I want to continue to make films. Naturally, like I still want to act, but I'm very picky now, I feel like, with what I want to be doing as an actor. But I love to tell more stories, and I see myself doing that, see myself writing and directing. And then, of course, the music. Like I put one of my songs in the film, Gaming for Love. So it's easy for me to write a score. So I've got the tools and I'm like, right, this is where I see myself. I want people to feel, I want people to be inspired by what I make. And if I can do that, then woohoo, life is good.
That's great. I didn't know you had a song in the film.
Yeah.
That's so wonderful. Yeah, well, I'm going to have to go back and watch it now.
It's at the end? Okay. It's in the credits. It rolls in the credits.
You're multi-talented and so self-reflective. You're an inspiration. And you know, the word spirit is in inspiration. So what you're doing is bringing spirit to the world at large. So just thank you for being you. You're such a gift.
You guys are amazing. Thank you.
We need to
Yes.
promote you, Molly. Give her the promotion.
Oh
Go,
my
go,
God,
go.
there's so many things. Okay,
Eden Gavin. Eden for love. Mwah.
Eden. Okay, I'm gonna say it wrong now. I feel like. Well, okay, so Instagram, it's y'all. It's spelled Erin, but Eden. Instagram is Erin Gavin Artist. Facebook Erin Gavin. TikTok Erin Gavin Artist. We'll put this all in the description because I suck. And then you have a website.
Suck. Will you stop it? You don't suck.
Do not.
And then this is your website, edengavin.biz. Is that your website?
Yeah.
Yay. So many good things. Is there anything else you want to leave us with about the film in particular? Because I know this is huge for you. Anything else you want to leave us with? Gaming for Love. Tell us.
I mean, well, I guess I could tell you a wee story just like recently. So a couple of people had reached out to me that I'd sent the film to, and one of them was Teen Cancer America. And so what really touched me was the fact that they said that they enjoyed the film and they feel like this could help. And they would like to share it internally. I don't think they'll mind me telling that. And then it hit a chord with me. I was like, oh, whoa, this can help people. If this film can help people on that scale, I'm like, whoa, you know, it make, you know, the hairs in your back stand up and you think, oh my gosh, like if this film can help families, just even for it's like a moment in time, oh my gosh, this is what I want to be doing. Absolutely.
It will. How could it not? I mean,
and I would imagine that, you know, that didn't even cross your mind when you first started. You saw the story. You said, I have to tell the story. You're not thinking about, oh, that this is going to end up in Teen Cancer America. And, you know, they're going to be using it. Like that probably didn't even cross your mind. You're just like, I got something good and I got to get it done.
Yeah, absolutely.
So all of these, it's just spiraling and just
It's spiral.
Amazing.
There's another company, charity, if you like, fundraiser. It's called Player versus Cancer. And then again, like, wow, it opened my mind because I was like, God, there's so many kids out there that they're even now creating fundraisers where it's gaming and cancer, you know, player versus cancer to raise funds because a lot of these kids, you know, they can't go out and play with their friends. They're not capable of doing that. So gaming gives them like a whole lease of life. And that's what's quite amazing about it.
Wow.
So,
Yeah. No, you're really helping so many people, countless people. And the fact that like your excitement for it is palpable. And I think it's just going to build from there. I think the world needs more Erin Gavin films.
Thank you.
I'm on board. Erin,
thank you.
Thank you so much for your time today.
Honestly, like Up Next Studios, these actors, just they were like little angels that came down to.
They were amazing. The whole group
Very
was amazing.
talented.
Yeah, honestly, behind and front the camera and everybody that supported me, honestly, just everybody's been little angels on this. So it was meant to happen, like we were saying.
Exactly.
Start something and it was just meant to happen.
It was meant to be.
And we're recording this on Thanksgiving, well, on the eve of Thanksgiving. And I don't think there are accidents either. We talked about Eden, you brought that up. So that's not an accident. So I am thankful for you, Molly. I'm thankful for you, Eden. Thankful for this time together. What a gift.
Yeah. And thank you guys for having me. I'm glad I met you guys.
Yeah, I know. Same here. Thank you, Brian Sebastian.
Sebastian, shout out. All right, Eden. Until next time.
Yes.
We'll say that. We'll have you on again.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Thank you, kiddos.